Hello and welcome to my channel. It's great to have you with us. If you're a first-time visitor to my channel, thank you for coming. Don't forget, if you're a sports fan, to hit the subscribe button. I cover a lot of sports events from across the world. In this video, we're going to be previewing the men's race of the Ironman World Championships coming up on Saturday from Kailua, Kona in Hawaii. Well, yes, it's all happening this Saturday on the Big Island in Hawaii, where the world's best long-distance Ironman triathletes are going to get together to compete. And boy, what an amazing race we have in store lined up for this weekend. Now, the Ironman in Hawaii is a legendary event. It goes way back to the 1980s. And I've had the privilege of watching this race live in Kona 13 years. And it's a very mystical place. It's a very amazing place. There's a lot of great energy and vibe there. I've done 9 Ironman triathlons myself, so for someone like me to actually go to the race and be there as part of the incredible atmosphere, it really is something sensational. And whether you're a sports fan of any sports, I do highly recommend that you put it on your bucket list to get to the Ironman one year in Hawaii just to have that experience. Okay, let's get into talking about this weekend's race and the men's edition of the race. And well, perhaps without Jan Frodeno, the race has got a little bit of its shine off it, but we have an incredibly deep field, and boy, it's going to be really interesting from a strategic point of view. Now, the conditions look like they're going to be quite good, and this is really important in Kona because sometimes we have very strong winds, which are crosswinds, and it causes a lot of problems on the bike for the riders. But it looks like we could have some rain on Saturday, and temperatures could be a little bit off. It could be more humid though, which could cause problems for those rookies that are taking on this event for the first time. And we're going to talk about that quite a bit in this particular video. Now, it's a very strong men's field in this year's race, and I've decided to pull out 8 competitors who I think are going to be challenging for the podium this year. And there's a lot of hype around a couple of them, but we'll talk about those in just a minute. The thing that makes Hawaii so different and Kona so tough when it comes to the Ironman race is the conditions. You have a swim that's in the ocean, which is typically swum against some kind of a swell. And even though it's a beautiful, clear and crystal clear waters to swim in, it can be difficult just getting used to that swell. And swimming times aren't that fantastic at this particular race. They're steady and they're strong, but most of the top elite athletes don't have their PBs at this particular race in the swim category. On the bike, it's a lot different. It's an out and back course. The riders take on the 180 kilometers out to Haviv and back. It's a turnaround at Haviv, and the telling point of this bike course is really the climb up to Haviv. And if you're feeling strong and committed at that stage and you're up in the lead bunch, you know that you're going to have a good day. If you're struggling at that time adversely, you know that you could be in for a bit of trouble, and you'll probably be holding on for survival on the way back into Kailua, Kona. The run course, like the bike course, is an out and back course. It's out to the Energy Lab, which is out by the airport at Kailua, Kona. And once again, it's a bit of a mystical place, the Energy Lab. Tradition has it that's where it saps all of your energy out, and you head back into town for the last 10K of the race, and that's where the race can be won and lost. I think we're going to see some battles royale in this particular Ironman, both on the bike and in the run. And I think we're going to have a very, very close race. So let's start talking about the contenders in this race that I see as potential contenders. And we're going to start off with the 2 Norwegians. Yes, I'm on the Norwegian hype train a little bit. And we've got Kristian Blummenfelt from Norway, and we've got Gustav Iden from Norway. Now, Kristian, in my mind, is the absolute favorite for this race. The only thing that has a question mark for me against Kristian in this race is that it is his first time racing the Ironman in Kona, and that could go against him. We've seen a lot of fantastic athletes over the year come over to Kona thinking they're going to crack the big one on their first time at this particular race, and it hasn't happened. I'm not saying that's going to happen to Kristian Blummenfelt. This guy is on another level, but I think he might find it a little bit tougher than what he's expecting, especially in that last 15 Ks of the run. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of strategy on the bike course. But my pick to win the race, if he can hold it together in his first time, is Kristian Blummenfelt. His outstanding record in going sub 8 hours for the Ironman distance is incredible. I'm here in Mexico. He raced in Cozumel in the Ironman here and did a phenomenal job to go sub 8 hours at that race, and in very similar heat conditions as he will experience in Kona on Saturday. So my pick for the top spot is Kristian Blummenfelt, and if he happens to blow up, then there's going to be a whole host of other athletes that have a chance to win this year's Ironman World Championships. Gustav Iden, his fellow countryman from Norway, is one of those athletes. However, my question mark over Gustav is that he hasn't really proven himself in a sustainable level over the Ironman distance. There's no doubt that he's a phenomenal athlete, winning 70.3 championships and a lot of short course distance triathlons. But against this field in Hawaii, there's got to be a question mark over Gustav Iden in my mind. So if he doesn't take second place, then I see there's a whole host of other athletes that can give these guys a bit of a hard time. The first one is Tim ODonnell. Yes, Tim had a heart attack while doing Ironman Miami in 2021, and he's come back extraordinary now to get himself back into condition to compete in this year's Ironman Triathlon. Now, Tim is a two-time podium finisher. He's got second here in Kona before. He knows how to race this course. He is 41 years old, but I certainly don't hold that against him, and I expect that to be one of his weapons, that he knows how to run this course. This is going to be his 10th race here in Kona, and Tim's looking really, really fit. I've been following his training online, and he looks like he's in not only great physical condition, but he's also in a good mental spot for him to be able to do really, really well. So don't be surprised if Tim ODonnell gets up onto the podium this year at the Ironman World Championships in Kona. I suspect he's going to have a very good race on Saturday and be one of the very strong contenders. He's one of those riders that if he's there at Haviv with the pack, he's going to do very, very well on the back end of this race. Another strong cyclist and athlete that I have on my list to watch out for is Lionel Sanders, the Canadian. Lionel's a fan favourite of many people around the world. He's got a fantastic vlog going since he's been in Kona. And Lionel's had a lot of mishaps over the Ironman distance, particularly here in Kona. And he laughs a lot about having to walk this particular run course on different occasions. There's no doubt that Lionel, in my mind, is a phenomenal triathlete. His only issue is up here, and he seems to have a lot of demons in his mind. If he's able to get rid of those demons on Saturday, then he's going to have a phenomenal race, and he's definitely going to be on the podium. But the heat is one of Lionel's biggest issues. He just had a problem in the PTO race in Dallas, where he blew up because of the hot conditions there, and he knows how difficult it's going to be to hold it together in Kona on Saturday. But if Lionel Sanders can do it, then I'm no doubt in my mind that he can get on to the podium on Saturday. So watch out for Lionel Sanders. He is Canada's big hope in this particular race. Now, a couple of Aussies and Kiwis that we need to watch out for. The first one is Australian Cameron Worth. Cameron is a phenomenal athlete. He represented Australia at the Olympics in rowing. He's also on Team Ineos in the World Professional Cycling Peloton. And now he's a phenomenal world-class Ironman triathlete. Yes, he's done it all. So hats off to Cameron, a fantastic multi-disciplined world elite athlete, and he's going to shake things up on the bike in this particular race. And I know that he's probably thinking that his run is not as strong as some of the other guys. I think some of these guys are going to be able to run mid 2 hours 30 for the marathon on Saturday. I don't think Cameron Worth is going to be able to do that after the kind of bike leg that he's going to put in. So I think Cameron Worth is going to be hammering it on the bike and putting a lot of pressure on the guys, either to see if he can build a lead to give himself a bit of a buffer to get into the run, or whether he can actually break some of these other guys. That's what's going to make this race so fascinating on Saturday, because you've got people like Cameron Worth who are not going to be able to rely 100% on their marathon effort to get through and get on the podium. So they're going to have to go hard on the bike, and I suspect he's going to be one to do that. Another Antipodean that we need to look out for is Braden Curry from New Zealand. Braden is another one of these multi-sport elite athletes, and a multi-time winner of the New Zealand Coast to Coast race. If you've ever seen that on YouTube, check it out. It's a fantastic 2-day event that goes from one side of New Zealand's South Island to the other, and Braden is a multiple winner of that race. In addition to that, he's really finding his legs, so to speak, in the Ironman racing strategy now. At the 2022 World Championships that was held in St George earlier this year, he led the race for 80% of the race and got caught by Kristian Blummenfelt and Lionel Sanders at the end, after he fell off the pace a little bit towards the end of the marathon. I think that race was a great thing for Braden Curry. I think he's gone away and he's going to look at how he goes about his races. He's very strong on the bike. Expect to see him up there at the top of the pack when it comes to the bike leg. And if he can get off either before or with the main contenders, he's in also for a strong podium finish. Next up on my list, we have Sebastian Kinley from Germany. Sebastian is a veteran in the Ironman World Championships and has won this race before. He knows what it takes to get through in Kona, and along with Tim O'Donnell, he's going to be one of the veterans in this weekend's race that I think is going to do very well. I put Sebastian in that league that if one of the top guys has a bad day, Sebastian's going to be there to take on the lead and to try and win this race. So don't be surprised if you see Sebastian Kinley in the last 10 kilometers either picking off runners or doing very, very well in this race. He's got the pedigree, he's got the experience in Kona, which is absolutely everything, and I think he's a very strong contender. Next up, we have Patrick Lange from Germany, and Patrick is another who's had victory and tasted victory at Kona before. He's a fantastic Ironman triathlete. He's a very fast guy. He was one of the first to go under 8 hours in the Ironman distance. And once again, he knows the conditions in Kona. So it's really going to be a case of these rookies and whether or not they can withstand the heat and stresses of racing in Kona against such a strong field on Saturday, or whether the old guard, the likes of Tim O'Donnell, Sebastian Kinley, Patrick Lange, are going to be able to come through and use their experience as a weapon in this race on Saturday. I think Patrick's going to do very well. I don't see him on the podium this year. I see him in the top 5 for sure. And again, if some of these rookies fall over in the run leg, then Patrick is going to be there to pick up the pieces. One other racer that I would like to highlight for this Saturday's race at the Ironman World Championships in Kona, and that's Magnus Dahlberg. Magnus has been blowing everyone out of the water with his times, winning Challenge Roth and doing very, very well under 8 hours. So he's another that comes to Kona with a question mark. Can he put it together on the particular day? If he does, he's going to go top 5 as well. I don't see him winning the race, but I see him having a very good race and being in the top 5. So watch out for Magnus Dahlberg in Kona on Saturday. I think he's going to have a really, really good race. So there you go. They're my top predictions for this weekend's Kona Ironman World Championships, and I think it's going to be an amazing race. I do see the Norwegians being very, very strong. Kristian Blummenfelt in particular has to be the favourite in this race. Not only is he extremely fast, but when things don't go right, he seems to have the mental capacity to be able to overcome those situations and still come out as a winner. He's a phenomenal guy, and he probably is the future of Ironman triathlon. He is already an Olympic champion. He is already 70.3 World Championship. He's done it all before, and he's won the 2021 World Ironman Championships at St George after a phenomenal comeback effort there as well. So tune in to watch the Ironman World Championships this Saturday, the men's race from Kailua, Kona. You can check it out on Peacock online. They're going to be doing the coverage of the women's and men's race. and I'll come back after the race and do a review video, and we'll see how it all pans out. So there you go, there's my predictions for this men's race on Saturday at the Ironman World Championships at Kienle, Kona. It's going to be an incredible race. So thank you very much for watching my video. I'm going to be back after the race with a review video and going through all the amazing things that happened. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of drama in this Saturday's race. So until then, stay safe, stay well, and get out there and do a bit of training. Bye for now.